The following video contains strong sexual content and is rated M for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Our advice? Don't get caught.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Raw Reality Podcast, where we keep everything raw and uncut.
Straight to a penthouse, Miami Beach. Yeah, yo. Talk crazy on tweets. They don't want it cause I come to defeat. They don't want it. I peek, these niggas all sweet. Bamboo sticks all in the Jeep.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Raw Reality Podcast, where we keep everything raw and uncut. Alright, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start off with the second episode that I'm bringing to you guys. I got my split with me already, so let's get into it. This is my first solo episode, y'all. Shout out to me. Like, this episode, I film it by myself. Lighted is by me. Equipment is by me. Everything is by me. So if you're listening on the audio version, if you're watching on the video, you're watching the video and the audio version, everything is brought to you by me. I just want to let everybody know, if you got a dream out here, chase it. It is nothing to it to making your dreams a reality. And I'm just so grateful for the growth that I'm making on my content creating, and I just want to continue everything that I'm doing. So if you see the mic and the camera, that's fine. Like, everything raw and uncut. Soon I'm gonna have me some big mics. We're gonna really, chop it up. But if you didn't watch that last episode, y'all, the first episode of the podcast, make sure you're going back and watching that episode, because the guests on there was lit. Like, they was too lit. But today I wanted to put myself in the hot seat and just talk to y'all. As you can see, this episode is titled Inner Child. And a lot of the times I think we think in our inner child mentality, and we just gonna tap into that for a little bit. I'm gonna be hella transparent on this video. So that is what raw reality is. It's just being raw and uncut and just not giving a fuck. Just putting everything out there, because you don't know the next person that's going through something and they might need to hear it. It's definitely not gonna be sad, downbeat. Like, we're gonna talk about some real shit, some upbeat shit. So we might talk about some shit that'll make you cry, and then the next minute we're gonna be on some shit we laughing. Like, that's the type vibe. So today's just gonna be a quick venting session, y'all. Y'all know I keep my handy dandy tablet, y'all. If y'all know anybody that knows how to make the podcast cards, or like my own little cards that I could just have for my, not only for interviewers but for myself, so I could just keep track of everything that I am talking about on the podcast. So what's up, y'all? Like, let's really get into it. I'm putting myself in the hot seat today, and I'm nervous. I don't know if y'all could tell, but first of all, before we get into anything, we're gonna get into the quote of the day. And quote of the day is, "The black woman is the most disrespected person in America." And that was said by Malcolm X. And I totally agree, and I feel like that quote totally aligns with what we're talking about today, because black women are so disrespected and just so overlooked and so misjudged and misunderstood. A lot of the times I feel like black women are disrespected and just overlooked and like stereotyped and just put in this box where we can't feel, we can't show emotions, we can't show any type of anything, because it automatically calculates to angry or anger. Like, why am I in a relationship when you express yourself as a black woman? It's angry, it's nagging, it's bitching, it's this, it's that. To society, when you express yourself, is this, you're mad black woman. Like, everything is just painted on you, and this comes as a child. Like, this is not just some shit that comes like as an adult and like, oh no, a black woman is disrespected as a collective. Like, as a child, from coming out your mama wooda, her cooter wooda, coming out your mama vagina, and being just adapting to this world and just seeing like what it gives to Black women, and we have no value. Like we have a lot of value. Do not get me wrong, ladies, when I say that, and don't take me wrong. But society, how it paints us, we have no value and we have no voice. But this podcast and this platform is here to let every woman know you have a voice, you are heard, you are seen, I see you. That quote is just so powerful, and it speaks on a lot of shit. To get into the episode, y'all, like I said, this is the first solo episode. Let's give it up. I'm so proud of where this podcast is like going, and what I'm doing, and what I'm putting towards, and the moves that I'm making to make my platform better, because I want to just expand. I want to go do big things with this podcast, and I just can't wait to see where it goes. And I can't wait to see the people that it helps and that it inspires to get up and live your life. Because a lot of the times, and this is going to be just a whole transparent vent session, a lot of the times I shut down and I hide myself and dumb myself down, and not even dumb myself down, because I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to take my intelligence away from myself to make myself look any kind of way. That's just personally how I feel. But how you're painted is a whole different thing. Like, sometimes I water myself down to adapt to society and to adapt to people, because I don't want people looking at me as angry. I don't want people looking at me as bitter. I don't want people looking at me as they can't approach me because, oh, she's the angry Black woman. Like, and I feel like, why should I have to water myself down? Why should I have to change myself to fit other people's standards and to fit other people's needs? And the day that I realized that is the day that I realized that I had to love myself for who I am. I'm an African American woman. I'm beautiful, and I just have to love myself. I'm still learning to love myself, like, and it is hard. Like, it is very hard trying to navigate through the world as a Black woman. Like, I just feel like it's just no outlet for us, or no place that we can just talk and just get everything out. And I named this episode Inner Child, because it's just so much that happens within your childhood that just really overtakes you, and you don't even know it in a moment. Like, you don't even know that you're being triggered. You don't even know that it's certain things that's like affecting your brain, that's just like you can't navigate through certain situations because it's just a trigger for you. And a lot of the times I just thought to myself, like, why am I so angry? And like, why do I feel? Because at a point, like, I was angry. Not even gonna lie, like, I was angry for a long time, and I was angry with myself. I was angry with family, friends, anybody who didn't like understand me, like anybody who just misunderstood me and just didn't take me for what I was, and just wanted me to be something that I wasn't. And over time I had to realize, like, you have been through a lot of shit, and although you're so young, like, the experiences that you went through, the trauma that I went through, I have to deal with it in order to move on, in order to be okay, in order to not be angry, in order to be a better person, and not, keep that cycle going to my kids. You feel me? To my grandkids. Like, I just want to break the cycle now and deal with those traumas and break myself apart, dissect myself, and figure out what's wrong, so I don't have to go back later at 40, 50 years old. I got my own child that's resenting me for the same things that I went through. And I just want to break the cycle, because I feel like I was, in a cycle with my mom and my dad, and I give everything to my mom, and I know she tried the best that she could. So long, like, I was angry, like, it was so much hurt inside, and I still have things that I have to deal with, but I have dealt with a lot, y'all. I have dealt with a lot, and I have dissected myself from a lot of situations that I've been through and just trying to forgive, because for me, that's what I find brings me and centers me to myself is forgiveness. I have to forgive you. I'm never going to forget, but I have to forgive you in order to move on from the situation, in order to be okay, in order to forgive myself and not blame myself and not hate myself. So that's just that. And that's why I protect my inner child. Like, to this day, I will always protect that little girl, because for so long she went without being protected, and she went without being recognized and acknowledged and heard. Instead, like, it was just a whole type of different shit. And like, I'm getting emotional now, and I just don't want to get emotional because I don't like putting myself back into those places. And I really did not want to talk about this, guys, but it's just raw and uncut, and I just want to go ahead and be transparent and show y'all like what type of time this podcast on and how we really coming. So we're gonna get into like protecting the inner child and why I protect that little girl. At 4 years old, I was molested by a family member and taken advantage of. And that's really my first time saying that on camera. I have plenty of vent diary videos where I just talk, cry. I don't know if anybody do that. Put that in the comments, y'all, if y'all have y'all little vent videos and y'all just cry. And because I really just, when people say I don't have no friends, or like I don't have nobody to talk to, like I really don't. Like, I don't have a best friend that I could call up and be like, girl, I just need to get this off. And it's just, even if I did, like, it's just some type of things that is personal within me that I could never just exploit to another person. Because for one, I never want to tell somebody and confide in somebody and they have some leverage, or they got some shit that they feel like they can use over my head. Not something that intimate. But the reason why I just got on camera today, on the podcast today, and just talked about this is because it's a lot of women out here going through it, have been through it, and just it's swept under the rug, and it's just not talked about, and it's overlooked, and it's just like a type thing. Like, and it shouldn't be that, because us as girls, like us as little girls, we didn't deserve that. Like, I'm 4 years old. Like, I am like fresh in school. Like, I'm a little girl. Like, I barely know what sex is. Like, okay, I might have seen kissing on TV or something like that, but my mom, the type mom, she never allowed me to watch dirty movies, like sex scenes in movies. She was the type mama, like, if this movie already, you can't watch it, like go in the other room type shit. But being with my dad, like, I seen other, like, I just was exposed to a lot as a child. Like, it wasn't any restrictions really. Like, yeah, it was don't cuss around me, and you know, different little, you know how it is. Like, and I'ma just, and it's sad to say, but in the culture of a black family, like the stereotype of a black family, where, you know, it's just raunchy, and it's just everything is just, your child is exposed to everything. It's no restrictions. And I don't know how to word that. I feel like that's the best way to say it. It's like no restrictions. And going with my dad and being on my dad's side of the family, like I said, I was exposed to things, I seen things, and I never want to put like that side of the family out there and be like, oh, well, I wasn't taken care of, and I wasn't. No, like, I've had some of the best times on my dad's side of the family. Like, I genuinely love them from the bottom of my heart. So that's why the situation hurts so bad, because young like that, four years old, being taken advantage of like that, being molested, like, that is something that doesn't register. Like, it doesn't register young. And when I I didn't even tell my mom. Like, I didn't even, like, but something in me, like, I didn't fully know what was going on, but something in me was like, I know this, what happened to me wasn't right. I know that an older man shouldn't be, you know, touching or putting any part of their body on a younger girl. Like, I knew that wasn't right. So, but I was afraid to tell my mom because I didn't want her to be mad at me, because I don't know how I knew. Like, I don't know how I knew, just like, don't tell my mom. Like, I don't want to tell my mom. And I don't know why I did that, but at the time, I just remember confiding in my cousin, and we were in the back seat, and my mom was right there, like, driving in the front. And I just remember telling my cousin, I was like, I'm not gonna say his name on the podcast, but I was like, so-and-so touched me or whatever. And Kira, really, my cousin, I didn't even want to say her name, but my cousin at the time, she just didn't, I don't think she really like knew how to take it either. Like, she didn't really know, because she was young too. Like, she didn't really know what to say or like how to really take it. Like, we're young as kids. And it's just like, it is so hard to talk about. And I just remember my mom turning around and she was like, what did you say? Like, what? And that's how she kind of heard it. And that's really all I remember, being that young, of what really happened. And I don't want to say like details that aren't true. So that is what I remember. I fully remember the encounter, everything, that what happened to me, I remember. But I'm not going to exploit those details on this podcast. Like, that does not, it don't need to get that raw. But most definitely after that, I felt like nothing really happened after that. Like, after I said something, and like, he was still coming around me. Granted, I was never touched again, but it's just his eyes, how he kept his eyes on me, and how he looked at me, and just the smart, like, just the little slick stuff like that he would do. And it just scared me. Like, at the time, like, it truly scared me. Like, it scared the living shit out of me. And that's why I grounded myself into being tough, into getting active, like, to getting out there in the field, getting in the streets, really, I would say. Learning street smarts, because I was like, I'm just too, I don't know what is going on. Like, that's when I started hanging with my older cousins, and I just wanted to see everything that they was doing, because they already knew. Like, they already had an idea of like what sex was. They're like 3-4 years older than me, so they already had an idea of what everything was. So I'm trying to see, like, I'm trying to get in and fit in. And from that moment, I just felt like at that moment, my innocence was taken as a child. Like, my childhood was completely robbed from me. And that shit hurt. Like, it hurts. And it still hurts to this day. But I walk strong, head bent. And I try to put it on now. Like, that is what I do now. Well, let's gravitate off of what happened to me and just the whole principle of the situation. I really don't feel it. I don't know how to feel, because me now as a mom, if I found out that somebody was touching my child, I'm not gonna sit up here and give y'all like this this dumbass answer. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna kill his ass and woo woo woo. I need to be here for my child. My child needs me. He needs his mom. At the end of the day, he needs his mom. So I'm gonna be here for my child. I'm taking your ass to jail. You're going to jail. End of fucking discussion. That's that on that. You will never walk free on this earth and then took advantage of my motherfucking child? Are you serious? And that was my energy on the situation. So it's just like, why the fuck was nothing ever done about it? To me, like, that's how that's where my mind eventually grew. And having that in you, like just having that hurt in you and not knowing where to, like, after that, y'all, that shit was never spoken on, ever. It was never no sit down. My mom sat me down and asked me what happened. But after, it was probably one conversation, that shit dead it over with. Like it never happened. Still coming around, family events, all this. No, that shit is dead. You think shit's sweet. Like, and that is my thing in families with incest and molestation. Like, how the fuck you letting this nigga walk in our vicinity? I feel like parents, and like, I was born in 2002, so my mom had me when she was 18. So my mom was very young. My dad was older, a little older than her. So I really felt like my mom was lost and trying to find herself and figure out who she was. She was with a guy who really didn't love her, and she loved him, but it just wasn't working. And she had her baby girl in that. She trying to figure out, how can I not hurt my baby girl at the same time? How can I not hurt myself? How can I be okay? A black woman in distress, needing help, needing guidance, needing everything. And that cycles over to her mother and what her mother taught her and what happened in her childhood traumas. So I don't feel like parents try to intentionally ruin childhoods, but parents scar their children in so many different ways by acting on emotions that they feel. I'm not saying that my mom stayed and took it because she loved my dad. I don't know. Like, to this day, I want answers. Like, my dad, I don't talk to my dad. Like, and that puts that's a hurt that I live with still. Like, how can you have a whole daughter out here and you just don't check on her every day? You don't hear her voice every day. I just can't imagine not hearing my child's voice every day. I couldn't imagine it. You didn't listen to me. You didn't hear me. You didn't act on something that changed my life. Like, that changed my life, and it had no impact. And that goes into my next topic of when people hate or show hatred towards the girl that was taken advantage of. Like, a lot of after that happened to me, and it kind of got out to everybody that happened to me. Like, I felt like a lot of people judged me. Like, a lot of people judged me after that. Like, nobody asked me, like, are you okay? Like, nobody sat down and showed me any sympathy, no remorse, no. And as a child, you search for that. You search for that companionship, like for somebody to be there for you, that comfort. But as a grown woman, now, I don't need that shit. Like, I could give two fucks about anybody's sympathy or their remorse. But at the time, as a child, wondering what the fuck did I do, like, to deserve that from a man to take advantage of me. I'm blaming myself. It is not my fault. And anybody that has been through it is not your fault at all. Never blame yourself for that. That was something out of your control. I was fully taken advantage of 4 years old. What was I going to do to defend myself? And, like, just to show hatred towards, like, where does that shit even come from? Like, hella people, like, would say, I don't want her around my child. She's too grown, this and that, woo-doo-woo. So you're saying I deserve that? You're saying that happened to me because I was too grown, I was this, I was that. I was 4 years old. What the fuck? I can't control how my body is shaped. Like, how I'm formed. I can't. That doesn't give you a fucking right to violate me at all. Like, I don't understand that. And that's kind of why, like, I have a defense mode. Like, I go into defense mode very quickly because I never want anybody to feel like they can control me. I feel like a lot of victims, and I'm gonna say victim because I was a victim then, I'm a survivor. Like, that's something that I survived. So like a lot of people, like they take that and they show it in different ways. They show it in relationships. They want to control the relationship, and I feel like I show those patterns in relationships. Like I feel like I want to feel like I have control. I'm controlling what I'm doing. I'm not being controlled. I'm not being told what to do. And sometimes I could go over into overdrive with that, because it's just drilled there, like through trauma, and I want to break it. And when I catch myself doing it, I try to like shy away from it, because I don't want to ever reflect a hostility onto another person. But a lot of the times people that come into your life, they're actually just trying to help you and put you on a good path, to be better and to get better and to feel better. And I just hate that sometimes in a lot of my relationships and friendships too, that I just, I put that defense up. I put that wall up, like that big boy energy, like, don't fuck with me, because I'm really not to be fucked with. And people take that as, oh my gosh, she's just too hostile for me. She's too controlling. She's too this. She's too that. But through life, I had to deal with that trauma, and I dealt with it in different ways. I'm not saying that how I dealt with it was healthy, but that was how I dealt with it at the time. Another thing that played a part in my inner child and my life, and just something that I feel like I missed out on, was healthy parenting. Like, I just didn't have a healthy co-parenting relationship. I'm not saying that you have to be together if you have a child. I have a child with somebody, so if we just don't work out, I'm not saying we ever have to be together for the sake of our son. That's in no way healthy. But I'm simply saying, like, as co-parents, like, when you're done with somebody, you should be done with somebody. Like, that's it. Like, if we have a child, I should be able to talk to you about my child. I should be able to tell you what my child needs, and that's that. But I didn't have that. Like, my parents beefed so damn bad, and it's just like I missed out on seeing my mom and dad be parents, like just come together and be parents for the sake of a child. And that's what I want to bring out in my parenting relationship with my child's father and my child. Like, I want him to always know, you don't have to pick sides. You don't have to feel like, oh, if I talk to mama about this, if I say this to mama, if I say this to daddy, then he gonna feel this type of way, and I'm gonna feel like I don't ever want to put that on my child. And a lot of the times I felt like that was put on me. Like, if I say this, I walked on eggshells with my parents because they were always beefing so hard. And like, I just longed for that, like, healthy parenting relationship, because a child needs that. A child needs to see that. They need to know, like, okay, I can actually sit down and talk to my mom and my dad about graduation plans, a graduation trip, or vacation, or just now as a grown woman, I can sit down and be like, okay, Dad, this is when we're going to Jakai's trip or whatever. Okay, Mom, this is where we're going to be. Can we all be in a civilized location? Civil. And it's just like, I long for that, but it's just some things you have to accept and you have to come to terms with, that it just is going to be what it's going to be. And that's something that I protect too with my inner child. And when I say her, I'm talking about the little girl, like the little me. Like, I protect her because for so long she was not protected, and she was robbed of her innocence and just everything. So just switching it off of, that, and I'm just gonna end it saying, any female that has been through it, that is still battling with any type of trauma, molestation, anything, like, you are not alone, and it's not your fault. And I never want you to down yourself or water yourself down. Let that anger go. I know it's easier said than done, but you just have to forgive the person at hand. They will they will be dealt with. God sees everything. He knows what's going on, and he will most definitely be dealt with. So that's how because truly how I can get on camera and talk about this situation. I didn't cry. I'm very proud of myself. And that's how I know I'm growing every day. It's hard, and I don't like rehashing on situations. When I say I'm forgiving it and I'm just gonna let it go, I don't like rehashing on it. But I did want to come up here because it can help so many people. You never know what somebody is going through. A lot of people might have looked at me and you never would have thought that I've been through that, but that goes to show, like, you never know what somebody is going through. But I was glad to just come up here and vent to y'all and just give it to y'all raw and uncut, for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into the straight raw segment, y'all. So y'all know how we do on the straight raw segment. We're gonna start it off a little light and then we're gonna go straight raw. First question, let's get into the first question on the straight raw segment. Okay, so apart from appearance, what is the first thing that somebody notices about me? Apart from how I look, what's the first thing somebody notices? That's hard to answer because everybody always say I got a resting bitch face. But that is, like, I hate when somebody be like, smile, like, it's not that bad. Like, I'm happy. It's just like, this is my face. Like, I can't help that. I don't know. I only got a minute to answer. So, I think I'm out of time. I don't know, y'all. I really don't know. Tell me, apart from appearance, what is something y'all notice about me? Let me know. We're gonna get into the next question. A minute on the timer, y'all. So, what is a deal breaker in a relationship for me? A deal breaker in a relationship for me would probably be somebody who doesn't want to grow. Like somebody who doesn't want to grow their mind. Like they just want to be depressed all the time. They just want to be bummy as hell all the time. They just want, like I just can't. That's a deal breaker for me. Like you don't want to grow. You don't want to grow from. I don't have a problem with a nigga starting from the bottom. Like I don't. It's okay. I'm starting from the bottom too. We just start from the bottom together. It's no problem. But if you always want to stay at the bottom,
make sure you're going over to listen to the audio version, to listen to the full scoop on the straight raw segment, y'all. So if you want to hear the full scoop on the straight raw segment, go over to the audio version on Spotify or on Apple Music. The link will be in the description box below.
Now we're just gonna close it off, y'all, with our final questions. How would I describe my 20s so far? I'm 21, so I've only had 1 year in my 20s. And so far, it has been challenging, and I understand a lot of things that my mom was saying when I was younger, and I wanted to be grown so bad, and now I just see. And I just want to be a kid again. I want to be 16 again. I want to go back. But at the same time, I don't, because I just love being, like, doing my own thing, being grown, having my own house, paying my own bills, controlling me, having that control. Like I said, like, I just love having that, and I lean on it. And also, to end the episode off is, what am I looking forward to, guys? So I am very much looking forward to expanding my life, expanding my content creating, expanding me as a person, moving out of my hometown, like just seeing things that I've never seen before, and not only me, my child seeing things that I've never seen before, and experiencing just a different type of life and environment. That's really something that I definitely look forward to, and just being a better me, y'all. Just growing, like just living life, living in a moment, because for so long, y'all, I have lived in the future and in the past on all the shit that has happened to me, all the shit that I have done. Like I have just lived there for so long, and I'm just so happy to just live in the moment and be happy with what I have. So that is a good way to end the episode off, guys. So thank y'all for tuning in to the second episode. This was a solo episode, y'all, and I felt like I did pretty good, y'all. When it's solo, it's more intimate, so you might not see me looking at the camera the whole time. You might see me looking this way, looking that way. It's just, I wanted to give it to y'all raw and uncut. This is me. Like, I just want to come to y'all, vent, and just keep this shit going. Y'all stay tuned for episode 3. We got a banger coming, y'all. I'm bringing another Gemini on the podcast, so y'all stay tuned. Who y'all think it is? I got another Gemini coming on the podcast, y'all. I don't know if it's giving toxic. I don't know what it's about to give, but my girl said it's a vibe all the time. So when she said that, I already knew she about to go ahead and turn it up. So y'all stay tuned for episode 2, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Raw Reality Podcast. Y'all make sure, if you would like to come on an episode, that you are hitting me in my DMs. The Instagram will be on the screen, and it will be in the description box, so y'all make sure y'all go check that out. Make sure you're turning your notification bell on so you're notified every time I'm posting a video, y'all, and stay tuned for the next episode. So we'll see y'all next time.